I wanted to make a video about things that parents or adults should do with their kids or with their friends on Halloween. Um, First and foremost, we are still in a crazy time in the world with the pandemic going on, and um, that's probably the most important thing to keep on your mind, keep in the forefront of your mind when you're trying to enjoy Halloween, which is usually a, f- a festive time where we spend a lot of time with other people. Um, a lot of kids get together, a lot of adults get together, but this video is just kind of like a safety checklist, I guess you would say, for adults and parents for Halloween. So I haven't been out on Halloween for a long time, primarily just because I never got a costume that I really wanted to rock outside and show off, but I have some ideas maybe for upcoming Halloweens. So number one is try to keep the party small. What I mean by that is if you are having your kids go out to go trick or treating, try to keep the group small. Try to keep the amount of kids together a low number. I mean, I don't expect everybody to have their kids testing for COVID and stuff like that. I mean, who am I kidding? I don't expect you to do that. But if you are going to have kids in groups and you guys are going to travel together through neighborhoods, probably keep the group small. I don't know how you're going to decide if John is going to be with Tim or Jake is going to be with Blair, but, try to make the group small. That way it would cut down on, a lot of people maybe transmitting the virus. So do that. Make sure that, everybody's in fairly small groups. That way it's easier to keep eyes on everybody and, you don't lose track of too much. Number two, I would say make sure you're trick-or-treating in areas where it's well lit. Kind of a no-brainer, but on Halloween, a lot of people like to do crazy stuff, and they use the nighttime, especially on Halloween, to to do those things. So there's a lot of spider webs hitting me in the face. So make sure that it's a well-lit areas that you're going to. Kind of like underneath it here, a lot of light. But make sure that's well lit. Make sure you're not going out too late. I think the best times for trick-or-treating is probably 6 p.m. to, at the latest, 9 p.m. Just want to get all that done in that amount of time. Make sure it's well lit. Stay trick-or-treating from 6 to 9 p.m. I think that's a good time frame. Maybe even earlier if if there's pre-existing, what's the word I'm looking for? If you have prior engagements, not pre-existing, whatever. But if you have prior engagements and you're able to trick or treat earlier, then by all means, go ahead and do it. But 9 o'clock, you should definitely be probably at home by that time, back at the house at 9, not wrapping up trick or treating at 9. So first we got make sure it's small groups. Number two, make sure the areas you trick or treat in are well lit and you're not out too late. Number three, candy. Candy is the main reason that kids are going out in the first place. So if you're not with the kids, then there's really not too much you can monitor as far as the candy that they're getting. But if you are with them, and just take note of what people are giving out as candy. Obviously, you don't want anything like drinks or things like that to be given out to your kids or kids' friends and stuff while you're trick-or-treating, because liquid is very suspect. It could be tainted very easily, and it's just not as easy to see if there's something wrong or if there's any defects with the product like it is with a brand new candy bar or brand new pack of candy. So try to stay away from liquids. Let's see. Another thing that parents or adults should keep in mind when they're out with their kids or chaperoning or whatever the case may be is try not to overstep your boundaries. And what I mean by that is, if you see places that doesn't even look like they have candy, or they don't seem like the type of environments where Halloween is celebrated, then probably stay away from that. You don't want to go in areas where you might anger somebody, or because at the end of the day it is on a Sunday and people are working, people are relaxing and don't really want to be bothered, so you kind of don't want to set the wrong people off, and then have a whole argument or tirade on Halloween over candy. I think Halloween has changed a lot from when I was coming up. Even the weather is a lot different. It seems like when I was young, trick-or-treating, it was warm outside in the late October, last day of October. It just, like, going outside and wearing your costume felt good. And I think as the years progressed, the cold weather was more abundant earlier in October than when I was coming up. So it's kind of miserable if you're wearing a costume that doesn't have you all bundled up to be out in the cold weather, just trying to look cool and fancy. I would say if it's cold outside, I mean, I'll leave that up to your discretion. I mean, the kids are probably going to say they want to go anyway, but cold weather and Halloween, for me, when I was young, it wasn't really a thing, so I didn't have to worry about it. But I've just noticed that the cold air seems to be a lot more just around, like now. So I remember, like, maybe last Halloween or something, I went outside and I was like, man, it is so cold out. Like, I wouldn't even have fun, trick-or-treating or anything. Like, I don't see how these kids do it. So keep the weather in your mind. Make sure, it's not going to rain that day wherever you might be. Make sure it's not too windy or cold. Oh yeah, and definitely, I mean, if you see a street like this with the light flickering, you definitely don't want to go down a street like that looking for candy. That looks kind of crazy, though. So after the weather, I would say, more tips for adults and parents trick-or-treating with the kids. I would say possibly make sure that when you go out Halloween day or night and you're going trick-or-treating, with the kids or chaperoning the kids, whatever the case, make sure you don't get too much candy. I mean, that might sound crazy, but there was a time where I had gotten so much candy in my bag that, I mean, it was overflowing. And walking home, I'm just dropping candy on the ground, just from it just overflowing with so much. And you don't want to bear too much weight. You don't want to carry too much, candy around, because you could end up, ripping the bag and then it all falls on the ground and you look crazy trying to pick it all up. It's just a bad situation. So I'd say this part is for just adults. Adults maybe going out to parties, or even if you're a parent, maybe you left the kids with somebody else, or the kids are old enough to navigate the neighborhood on their own. This part is just for, the adults that want to go party and have a good time. I would say just, do the same thing as, with the kids. Make sure it's small groups. I know these Halloween parties get crazy. There's a lot of folks all, together, that want to show off, their costumes, party, have a good time. I would say make sure that, you try to social distance to a degree. If you're gonna be in a building, a closed building with no kind of ventilation, and there's a lot of people gathered around, try to just stay back a little bit. If you're not wearing any kind of respirator or anything like that, I would try to stay away. And that sounds so crazy. I mean, like I said, we're in a time where it's just different, and until this virus goes away or slows down a lot more to where it's not such a threat to society, I mean, you could pass up on being in everybody's face on Halloween. They can appreciate your costume from a distance, That's always a thing. I mean, if you're at the other side of the room by yourself, I can still see your costume. I don't need to bring my whole group over there or anything and, crowd your space while we admire your costume. Just, like I said, it's different. So just keep those things in mind, man. Of course, the people that are really, traffic. The people that are really conscious about catching the virus, they're probably not going to be going out on Halloween anyway. But for the people that are, I'm saying, take some kind of cautionary measures to, just protect yourself and protect others as much as you can. For adults as well, if you go into a party and, there's a buffet out and punch and all that, I would kind of stay away. Unless, it's a very, very small group of people, or, something like, or you prepared the food and refreshments yourself, I would say, pass up, because you're going to have a lot of people that are pretty much, you don't know where their hands have been. You don't know what kind of, sanitary routine they have. I would say, pass up on the snacks and the refreshments, as crazy as it sounds. I know this whole thing sounds crazy, but I'm speaking from you're like, man, Strat, you're basically going against everything Halloween is. And I mean, yeah, I'm trying to give a safe, outlook on, if you're gonna go out and have a good time, then, try to be safe about it. So, like I said, with us being in the different time that we're in, you have to handle things differently. Or, you go about things the way you've been going about them. That's completely your prerogative. But I think adults and parents both should be extra mindful during this season. You got winter coming and all that kind of stuff. So it's just good to be mindful about how to keep you and yours safe when you want to have a good time on a holiday like Halloween. That's pretty much it. I mean, other than that, enjoy Halloween. I hope your kids and family enjoy Halloween, and just try to stay mindful. Try to stay abreast of what's going on in the world, because Halloween came around and the kids want to have fun and stuff, but there's still a real threat as far as this virus. So go through the list, check it, make sure you got all the boxes checked, do what you need to do to make sure you have a good Halloween this year. Be safe and take care.